All right, and now I am going to open up a little presentation that I put together just to make it easier, and I will share that with you right now. Give me 1 second to go back and forth. All righty. All right, so let's rock. Today, we are going to go through these strategies that literally are low cost, no cost, and instantaneously they can increase your profits, your sales, your leads. They can do all of these things. So what I have probably specialized in for, I don't know, 30 something years is what I refer to as a 5-step profit formula. All of us in business, we need these 5 things in order to create not only the most revenue and profits, truly to help the most people. Every one of you who is here was invited and then selected because I know that you want to help other people. So the first thing you have to think about is, well, I have to have more leads. I have to have leads consistently coming in. And by the way, Barbara, who works with me, she and I were chatting today, and we were saying, wow, what is the biggest thing people, quote, struggle with? And it's leads. And if you have a constant pipeline of leads, you never have a struggle in your business. The second thing after you get the leads is, well, how do I convert them? Yes, that the word sales is in there, and there's nothing wrong with the word sell. It's not a dirty 4-letter word. So you convert them so that they can get served by your products, your services. The third thing that you have to have is more transactions. And what I mean by that is people coming to buy from you more often. There's 2 ways of doing business. One way is to constantly be hunting. I have to find people, have to find people, have to find people. And you know what? I never have done business that way. That means you are constantly looking for people instead of focusing on the people who you currently have, that we refer to in my business as your client family members. They could be your customers, they could be your patients. When I had a medical business, they were my patients, and I considered them family members. The fourth is higher prices. In my experience and in Barbara's experience, most people sell themselves for way less than they could be selling themselves for. And I don't care what your business or your profession is, since I work with all kinds. You could be a doctor, you could be an attorney, you could be an accountant, you could be a naturopath, a chiropractor, a dentist, a coach, a consultant, a speaker, trainer, author, a realtor, a mortgage broker. It doesn't matter. And then finally, and this is where I get a little embarrassed and will share transparently, it's more profits. You have to be able to make more money and keep more money. And transparently, Barbara knows the story. Many years ago, when I first started in my consulting business, first year was 26 years ago. First year I did about 500,000, and the second year I did a little over $1 million. And when I went to my accountant thinking, wow, I had a bang up year, right? It was like 1.2 million. I'm really rocking it. And my accountant said, this is like a horrible year. And I'm like, oh, he's being sarcastic. It was a horrible year. I made over $1 million in terms of top line revenue. I actually kept, so embarrassing, $50,000. It's really embarrassing. I just am being transparent. I was paying no attention, and I was spending money on everything. I was like, I'm going to buy this and we're going to do that. And I wasn't looking. So we want to talk about all of these steps because they're all really important and you need all of them. So as we go through, and I'm just going to close the one window that I have here. There we go. As we go through, we're going to look at the pieces that go into a system. And this is the focus of our group today, is use all 5 pieces and let me systematize them for you. You have to understand how to make advertising work for your small business. And most people spend money on advertising that does not work. Raise your hand if anyone here has ever spent money on advertising and didn't have an ROI. Let me look at everybody. Okay, so I've done it. I've done Facebook ads, I've done radio, I've done TV, I've done magazine. I've been in business for almost 44 years. I've done it all. I now do advertising that costs me almost nothing and has huge ROI. I'm going to show it to you. The next thing is building joint ventures. And instead of hunting for more client family members or patients or customers, almost all of my business flows in through joint ventures. In fact, I have two very large joint venture partners right now who in the last 3 weeks have each referred anywhere, well, one referred 5 and the other referred 9 prospective client family members. And by the way, I really want you to hear this. It's not because they're getting a commission. Okay? It's not because they're getting a commission. They're not. I am referring business to them, and that's a partnership. I pick them because they do great work and they already do work for me and my company. And I basically said, would you like to have more clients? And they said, yes. I said, would you do good work for me? I'll refer my clients. In exchange, if you think what I do is valuable, will you refer yours? And I'm going to take you deep into each process. The third thing, and I see people miss this all the time, and again, Barbara and I were just chatting about this. She's one of my top consultants. We're talking about upsell and cross-sell today. And this is where a lot of people just don't even do it. It's like, is there something else? Don't just upsell or cross-sell a bunch of junk, but is there something else people really need when they buy your products or services? Is there something else? Let me give you, for example. Back in the day when we went out of our houses, I used to get my gray hair colored. My hair colorist could have said to me, Terry, in between coloring, I recommend the following products. That's an upsell to something better and higher. And by the way, I would have bought that. She could have also cross-sold me and said, since you're already coming in, if you want, we have a manicure package or a pedicure package. And this, I'm going to use all different business examples. That's just to give you an idea what I'm talking about. Next is, how do you expand your products and services? And again, I don't care. You can be a medical professional, an attorney, you can be an accountant, coach, consultant, speaker, trainer, author, realtor, mortgage broker. There are ways to do this. And then one of the things that Barbara and I have been really successful at is downselling. And downselling is, if someone can't afford X, is there something else that can still bring them value that isn't priced at a place where they can't afford it? I'm also going to take you through a revenue producing drip campaign, which literally brings you money all the time. And I'm going to really talk today about stop the discounting madness. This happened all of a sudden with this pandemic. I was just having a bite to eat and I said to my husband, look at this. There is a company trying to sell me a skincare product for $25 and they told me I could break it up into 4 payments. It's a $25 product, okay? So, and this isn't the first email that I've seen like this. People are going through crazy discounting and it's not what attracts people. Bundling is, and it creates more value. And then my favorite one is, wait till you see this and knock your socks off. All of us, me too, have costs that we can cut that you don't even realize. And in the past month, in my company, we cut $9,200, and I look at this every month. And I had said to my team, well, I don't think there's anything else we can cut. We do this as a cost-cutting exercise. $9,200 out the window, just instantly, like, what are we spending money on? So we use something in our company that is updated from the profit growth calculator now. And Barbara and I both use this with our clients and with people we chat with. And it is a profit assessment that's pretty mind-blowing because now we can do this online. So it's very, very cool and it's really fun. And what we do, and what we're going to do today, is we're going to look at all 5 areas. We're going to always start with, here's where you are, more leads. Here's where you are, more conversions. Here's where you are, more transactions, higher prices, and more profits. So just to give you an example, let's just say that over the course of the year, we're just going to use easy numbers, your company had 1,000 leads. We talk today about super minimal increases. I like to be ultra conservative, although typically we can do increases of 30 to 50% or more. Let's talk really ultra conservative, 10%. That's like a no-brainer. So if you increased your leads just by 10%, instead of 1,000 leads, you'd have 1,100. Now, if your conversion rate was 25%, you're still converting 25%, but now you're converting 25% of a larger number. Your transactions go up, your profits go up, your prices go up, everything goes up, and everything drops down to the bottom line. So when you focus on all 5 areas, I really want you to get this, it works exponentially. So if your profit before, with your 1,000 leads, just taking this very conservative, you made 62,500. Just with this 10% change, you're now making over $100,000. Does anybody see the value in looking at all 5 areas? Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, good. I love head nods too. I'll take that. Thank you. So I'm going to keep breaking this down as we go on. So all we're doing here, literally, I'm using the most minimal conservative number. And to be honest with you, if we got paid for increasing people 10%, we'd be pretty, pardon my language, shitty business strategists. That's not worth anybody's time. We want to do way more than that. And that's what we're going to share with you. So if you take each area and you just keep looking at, well, if we get 10% here, if we get 10% here, but what if we get closer to what we're really good at and what we're going to show you today, and closer to like, how do we actually over the course of a year increase it 50%? So I want you to think about your business for a minute. What if you had 50% more leads? So if you were this business that had 1,000 leads over a year, and now you had 1,500. Look at how everything changes. Your conversions go up, your transactions go up, your prices go up, your profits go up. And now you go from that 62,500, ready, to 474, 187.50. Do I have anybody's interest in like, oh, 50% might be nice. Yeah, 50%. Anybody in for 50? Okay, good. I thought Paul would be all over that. All right, so that's what we're actually going to do. But we're going to use small numbers. We're going to make this real simple for everyone. So I'm asked this all the time. What's the key to successful marketing? You have to be able to enter the conversation that is taking place in the minds of your prospects. Most business owners enter a conversation in their own mind. I think you should have this pen. It's a really good pen. Now let me try to sell you this pen. Okay, and obviously you're not selling pen, dental services, chiropractic, whatever you're selling. You have to get in the prospect's mind. You have to think like them. You have to be in their emotional state, and you have to feel like them. This is really important, and in my experience, what business owners miss. So I was just sharing this with clients that Barbara and I are helping today, and I said, look, you have to know the number one thing on your prospect's mind, and you have to know what that number one thing is today. So let's think about this. We're in a little bit of a different world with this pandemic, right? What is it that people are thinking about that relates to your business? So I look at people and say, when they go to bed at night, what are they fearful of that my business can help with? Or what's the big result they want that I can help with? So let me give you a few examples. If you help people lose weight, or if you help people get physically fit or eat better, whatever it might be, you're looking for people who, when they go to bed at night, go, oh, I'm not comfortable in my physical body, or, oh, I haven't been to the gym in months, I have to do something. Or I really want to lose weight. Or I want to lose weight to get rid of diabetes. Or you're saying, oh, I've got to help people who really want to figure out a way to sell their home or get into another home. Or I really have to help people who are depressed or who have back troubles. Or I really have to help people who aren't getting leads from their website or who are struggling in their business. Whatever it is that you do, you've got to get into their heads and you need to think like them. So there's always a conversation that's happening in the minds of your prospective client family members. And please remember this. This is such an important thing. I call it a writer downer. There's a problem that they have and they don't want to have. I'm going to give you a quick example. My husband and I are both scheduled for dental appointments, as well as my nephew. We all go to the same dentist in early May, and dentists will not be open in our state. I'm okay with that. I'm like, I'll go when I can go. Well, my husband needs work done and his teeth are bothering him. He has a problem he doesn't want and he wants to solve it. Okay. My nephew is very conscious of his looks because he's in politics and in the public, and he likes to have his teeth whitened, and he was scheduled for that. It's a problem for him right now. Okay. It may not be a problem for you or me, it is for him. The other thing that is a result they want, but they don't have. So let's say you help startups get their first $10,000. Someone wants to start a business, they don't know how to make $10,000. Or maybe you're a business strategist. You help somebody go from 100,000 to 300,000. They want more income. They don't know how to get there. Maybe you're a business that's never been virtual. Chiropractor, what am I going to do? So there's a result. I still want to make money. I still want to help people. I still believe in chiropractic or whatever it is. The people who come to me want a result. They want to have less back pain, and then they don't have it. So that's what you need to be very conscious of. Barbara and I teach this in all of our programs. We teach something called the conversion equation. And I will tell you, this is the game changer right here. The words that you can remember this by are interrupt. This is a writer-downer. Interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. I'll say them again. Interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. And by the way, they go just in that linear order. Someone is busy, they're doing something, and you need to have something that interrupts them and secondly, engages them. So you're scrolling Facebook and there's a million things on Facebook. And all of a sudden you see something, oh, it's interrupted you. And then you read the post and you comment on it. You've engaged with them. Third is then the person educates you and creates value in some way, shape, or form. And finally, they make an offer. We'll get into specific examples. Interrupt, I call your headline, and it's not just a headline in writing, it's a headline verbally. It's a headline that you can say in a conversation, on the phone, in the days when we have in-person networking groups again. It can be used there. It can be if you give a talk or give a speech. It can be in a Facebook Live. Engage would be like the subhead. We'll get into examples. You'll be able to see this. And educate, educate, educate is something I say all the time. I don't sell people, and neither does Barb. We educate people. We provide information, information, information. And people then come to see you as the person or the expert or the realtor or the mortgage broker or the dentist or the IT person or whatever it is that you do. Think, wow, this person really knows their stuff, and they choose you. And finally, when I talk about the offer, I have to talk about this piece. Most people's offer is not very compelling, and it's not irresistible. So a prospect ends up shopping for the cheaper person. Think about this for a minute. You can help my back pain, so can this guy down the street, and this person's this cheap. This person says they can help me with my physical fitness at their gym, and it's that much, but this personal trainer is a lot cheaper. I'll get this one. So I'm going to teach you how to create a compelling offer that is so irresistible. So for example, I'll give you an example. The folks that work in programs with me and Barbara and that are in a one-year program, they are guaranteed not only to make all of their money back, because we'd be idiots if we couldn't make all their money back, no one should pay us, but they're guaranteed that as long as they show up and they submit their homework, which of course they're going to do, if for any reason they fail, and I've worked with over 6,000 people, haven't failed yet, you never know, somebody fails. They get all of their money back plus $5,000. Now, no one in my market for 26 years has made a guarantee like that. I am so sure of my systems, and Barbara and I together in our joint programs we're willing to do that. So here's what happens. Someone comes along, let's say they need a business strategist, and they go, here's a business strategist, they're very inexpensive. Oh, Terry's a little bit more. Oh, now I'm guaranteed. So I want you to think about your business and industry, and even if you're thinking, I can't do that in mine, you probably can, and you're probably not seeing it yet. Nowadays, especially with this pandemic, there is so much saturation of marketing messages. I know you're all seeing them. I'm receiving like emails and promos and it's like, oh my God. So you have to have even more touch points now than ever before people choose you. And they used to say it took 11 touch points. And then a few months ago, before the pandemic, they said it takes 20. I'm going to tell you my experience, it may take as much as 100. Don't panic. I'll show you how to systematize it before someone actually buys. But using this conversion equation, we have found that it only takes about 12 at the most touch points. And I'll show you how to do that. Here's the biggest thing that I'm seeing. People don't follow up with prospects. There is this giant window of opportunity for somebody who's like raised their hand and nobody followed up with them. And maybe I look at this as a parade. There's people who come to you and raise their hand and they're at the front of the parade saying, oh, I need what you have. And they're your buyers. The bulk of people aren't there. The bulk of people are in the middle of the parade going, maybe, perhaps. And your job is those 5 to 12 touch points to move them to the front. And then there's going to be people at the back of the parade. They may fall off or they may take a long time. And you're still going to give them some touch points. So I want you to think as your buyer, each of you in your own wonderful specific businesses, think of your customers, your client family members, your patients, and I want you to put yourself in their shoes for their journey. Looking at this parade that I talked about, you have somebody looking and going, why should I get this? I don't think I need this. They're not really that interested. They're at the back of the parade. Then you've got people that are in the middle, the soon to be. They're like, is there a reason I shouldn't get this pen? Maybe it's not going to work for me. And then your now buyers, the smaller percentage of people are saying, yes, I want a new dentist. I want a new chiropractor. I need to find a realtor. I need a consultant, whatever it is they need. And the only question they're asking, we're back in their minds, is who should I buy from? Who? And of course, we want to make that you, which we'll show you how to do that. So I'm going to use some real people and real examples. I think that will help you. We're going to use quite a few case studies. So this looks a lot like maybe some of your information and lead pages, and I see these all day long. Look at the very top. There's absolutely no offer. You're coming to a page that has a header, and for what? People only look very quickly for 3 seconds, and if it doesn't call out to me and tell me an offer, you're talking about yourself, and I could care less. So it says, get your free retirement consultation. You don't tell me why I want that or what the benefit is. Why am I signing up for that? Then you tell me, call now. Call now for what? Why would I possibly call you? What's the offer? Or click here. I'm not clicking on anything. And then, he gives me his phone and all of this, and contact Gary with a question. Gary looks like any financial advisor, or quite frankly, substitute financial advisor, put in realtor, chiropractor, dentist, naturopath, it really doesn't matter. There's nothing here. And by the way, how many of you have seen something that looks like this? Or you don't have to admit it's you. You have one of these? Okay. This is not going to get you leads. Absolutely not. And this is very similar to what most people have. Now let's look at this one. Again, these are real people. What's the offer? You only look at the first third of a page when you go to a website. So this is all about you. Oh, here's lots of pretty people's faces and the name of your company and a logo. Why would I care? You're not talking to me. I'm not scrolling down. I'm not even going to see treatments. I'm going to see, here's a bunch of faces with a phone number and an email. Oh no, just phone numbers. Big deal. So let's look at the buyer's journey again. They come to your page, your landing page, your website, and their question is, why should I buy? They're a future buyer. I didn't see anything on either of those that told me why I should buy anything. If I'm a soon-to-be buyer, you also didn't start talking to me about any objections that I'm having through my head. Yeah, maybe I don't really need this. Maybe now's not the time. And you're certainly not convincing me on the who. This is one of my favorites. I had to share this. Barbara's seen this. So first we see the top third of this person's page. And there's all kinds of navigation buttons. There's a photo, there's a logo. And it's all about Dr. John Smith, parenting advice and resources from Dr. John Smith. How is that about me? It's not. Now we had a cute little video there, and look what Dr. John Smith is specializing in. Wow, emotionally disturbed children, behavioral problems, teen pregnancy, handling Dr. John Smith can do everything. He's not talking to me. And then what am I getting? A free consultation. A consultation for what? This, by the way, is very typical of what I see when I, as Barbara knows, spend a lot of time researching what people do on the internet. We transformed this for him, and I really want you to get this. Notice there's no more navigation buttons or logo or anything. The first third of the page is what people look at. So how do I know if this is for me? Are you sick and tired of the yelling, screaming, and belligerent attitude of your child? So if I go there and I don't have screaming, yelling, belligerent kids, I'm like, no, this isn't for me, and I'm gone. However, if I have screaming, yelling, belligerent kids, I'm like, he interrupted me. Now he engages me. Now you can discover the secrets of controlling your child and instantly restore peace and quiet in your home. If I'm the prospect, he's in my mind. What do I want? Oh gosh, just give me some peace and quiet. Now there's a cute little video, which I'll go over in a minute. Right in the middle, he gives me a why. Learn the secrets to gaining and maintaining complete control of your child in less than 60 seconds. Enter your name and your email. Can anybody see the difference? Can you feel, are you getting what I'm saying? Yes, yes, yes. Let me look at the other screen. Yes, yes, yes. And by the way, Roger is one of our experts at doing these things. So Roger knows what I'm talking about here. Now, I said there's a video on his page, which I do recommend. The doctor had no idea what to say. So we actually wrote out the script for the doctor. As a parent, are you struggling to gain control of your child's attitudes and emotion? Is your child yelling and screaming at you while often displaying a belligerent, sometimes threatening tone? No matter what you do or try, you just can't seem to get it under control. My name is Dr. John Smith. I help parents just like you every day learn the techniques that will solve those frustrating and destructive behavioral patterns once and for all. In fact, let me prove it to you. Just go ahead and enter your first name in the box to the right, and I'm going to send you a series of 60-second techniques that will immediately restore peace and quiet in your home. By the way, that video script is pretty much a template that I use, and I change, basically would say to you, hey, Colleen, Paul, Roger, Chris, Dr. Yamada, whoever it might be, I would say to you, hey, let's get into their minds. What are they struggling with? And let's use some emotional words and let's let them know we understand the pain and how we're going to take it away. So we went from this free consultation for what? No benefit, to this video script that said enter your name and your email and told exactly what the benefit would be. And it's very simple. The box is right there. So let's take a look at how this makes a difference. Case studies are important. This thing was averaging 300 leads a month. And about 30 people, which is 10%, would call to just ask about the consultation. What is this consultation? And about 3 of those, 10%, would say yes to the consultation. And literally all 3 would typically become new patients. Now look at the transformation. If you took the same 300 leads a month, what we found is about 20% requested the videos. 10% would say yes to the consultation. All 6 would become new patients. By the way, the average value of Dr. Smith's sale is $800. So just changing this one thing, which engaged and it interrupted and it educated, $2,400 per month was this case study's increase. So that's almost $30,000 in revenue just with this one teeny tiny little strategy here. I want to talk about more strategies. How about building your business really fast using joint ventures? And I want to share a true story with you. When I first started in this business, I had left being president of a national healthcare company, as many of you know, and I started coaching and consulting. And I wanted to build my business really fast. And I did. I had 30 clients in 30 days. I had a waiting list, and I always have had since, and I've never looked back. I did a lot of it through joint ventures. Some of you back in the day may remember this. Dr. Joe Vitale did a joint venture with me. We sent an email out to his list. Now, I'm always transparent, even though some of it's embarrassing, I'm always transparent. When I started my business, my first e-zine newsletter, I had 4 people on it. Basically talked 4 friends and family members, like, can you get off my list? I had 4 people. After Joe and I did a joint venture together, overnight, 24 hours, I had 55,000 subscribers. So do you want to build your business one person at a time? I don't. Let me clarify what a joint venture is. It's 2 or more businesses that say, we're going to share markets, or we're going to endorse specific products and services. And there usually is some reason. It doesn't always have to be revenue share. I do a lot that aren't revenue share. Never, ever, ever, ever do a joint venture with someone whose products and services you don't trust or believe in. So why was Joe willing to do it? And by the way, it was not financial. Joe entered a coaching program that I was doing right at the literally first few weeks. And Joe was no one back then. You all know Dr. Joe Vitale for all his books and Being in the Secret. Nobody knew Dr. Joe back then. He had a very small group of people. He had a big email list of a few 100,000, but nobody really was paying him big bucks. And he was not very well known. And he was going through my program and he said, you know, the people on my list want more of what you sell than what I sell. I would love to introduce them to you. And in exchange, would you introduce me to people? And I said, yes, because I had also hired Joe. So that's how you build a joint venture. Now, here's a key. You have to only find really good joint venture partners. And this is how I like to think of it. I serve people who want to grow their businesses, clearly. So I ask myself, before somebody hires me, who might they be going to first? Well, they maybe go to an accountant to set up their business. They may go to their corporate attorney. They may go to a printer to get their business card set up. Who else might they use during their time with me? Well, they might use an IT person. They might use a virtual assistant. They might use a bookkeeper. Who might they use after? They might use a business broker to sell their business. I could give all of these things. So simply, you make a list of who these people are. So I like to use this example. The way I do this is I mind map it. So in the middle, I took the wedding industry and I put, I'm getting married right here in the middle. And then I just kept thinking about all the people that someone needs if they're getting married, right? So let's just say that I'm the jeweler. Right in the middle, I would put jeweler. Well, who could the jeweler have joint ventures with? Well, certainly a wedding planner, churches, chapels, places that hold the receptions, where someone's going to buy the wedding dress, the florist, the wedding cake, the printer, and I could go on and on and on. So you start to mind map who are my prospectives. So over the course of my career, I've worked with all different kinds of industries, whether it be dentists or coaches or chiropractors or naturopaths, really doesn't matter. In every business and industry, we all have a circle like this, just most people haven't thought about it. So if you take this chain of events, here we are. I'm going to be a florist now. Everybody above me is someone who I can send business to, because before you get to the florist, you've gone to a wedding planner, you've picked your church, your chapel, you've picked your reception venue, you've probably gotten the dress, probably ordered tuxedos, whatever. So everybody above me, it's like someone I want to connect with. And then after you get the flowers, might be the wedding cake and the printer. That's how you need to start thinking. It's really, really important. Everyone below, everybody above. It's a chain of events. Now, really think about this. I'm going to be crazy conservative. I'm the florist. Let's say I just get one referral each month only from the above businesses, the wedding planner, the church, reception venue, and the wedding dress. That's it. Just one a month, one referral a month. And then underneath me, I said, I'm going to send one referral a month. So somebody comes to me and they're getting flowers, and I say, oh my gosh, let me tell you, John Cuccia's Bakery makes the best wedding cakes. Can I make a referral? Oh, Mary Jane Smith is an amazing printer. And that's all I'm doing, one a month. If the average sales price for the wedding flowers is $3,000, which by the way is really inexpensive, then just one referral a month, one, means that as the florist, my annual increase is $36,000. And then if I just refer below me, another $3,600. Okay, let's just say that I refer to a printer. Let's say the printing's $1,000 and very inexpensive. I get 10% of that. So one referral can bring me money every single month. So you start to add this up. And I'm really serious, ridiculously conservative numbers, ridiculous. So easily in your business, there could be an extra $40,000, $41,000. So let's take a real case study. What if you had what we call a consumer awareness guide? And by the way, we have these in every industry. Barbara and I have a library of these. But instead of sending out your brochure and your email and your social media posts that are sales, 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 you interrupt and you educate. 5 things every bride should know to avoid disaster on their wedding day. Think about the word I used, how emotionally compelling that is. And by the way, people in general, have not used headlines that emotionally compel people to do anything. You're a bride, you're going to get married. Oh my gosh, wouldn't you want to avoid emotional disaster? And by the way, they say images are worth 1,000 words. That image is worth even more than that, right? It's like, oh my God, you don't want to be that bride. So you have a consumer awareness guide that educates, and that's what you give people. All right, now we're going to talk about downselling, and this is really a great wealth concept. So let me first explain it. Downsell means someone says no, they're not going to come to you, they're not going to buy from you, not going to do business with you. You don't offer them the same thing by reducing your price, right? We don't reduce prices. You have an alternative to something else that's lower priced, an alternative for them. So I'll give you an example of that. Actually, one I just thought about. My older nephew, a couple of years ago, he really wanted to have his teeth capped. As a child, he had all kinds of problems. So he wanted to have his teeth capped. And when he went to the dentist, found out insurance wouldn't pay for it and how much it was going to be, he said, oh, just forget it. He literally was getting out of the chair. That's what he told me. And the dentist went, wait a minute. There's a bleaching system we can do. There's a bonding system. It's so much less. Back in the chair. So here's our goal. Yes, you're still going to get the benefit of a product and service. And you know what? You're going to keep that person as a patient or a client family member who comes back to you over and over in the future. So I'm going to use a real client, a health club, and they sell a 1-year gold membership program. What could be a downsell? I can't afford that gold membership. No problem. We'll just do the 90-day health makeover for you. It's much less money. Can't afford that. Let's do 1-week trial membership. See how you're getting, the whole goal is to get the person to begin to experience you. Some of you have heard me talk about this in the past, like Paul's been with me for a long, long time, and he's certainly heard this, and some others have heard this, and I bet Denise has heard this too. Baskin & Robbins is where I worked in high school, and the ice cream store, right? And so if you all remember Baskin Robbins, they have these little pink spoons and they let you take a taste of the ice cream. So when I first started working at Baskin Robbins, and the manager, I always remember, is training me, I'm like 16 or 15 years old, and he said, just give everyone as many tastes as they want. And I'm like, they're just gonna taste ice cream and walk out. And he's like, they're not, they're going to buy. And I'm like, how do you know? He's like, well, I've been the manager of the store for 5 years and I just want you to do it. So he said, don't care if they buy or not. We don't care. Just let them try. So people would come in and they would try. And some people would try 1 flavor, some would try 10. In my 2 years of working there, I don't remember anyone tasting ice cream and saying, great, have a nice day, and walking out. And I was like, how does that work? And he said, if you are willing to give people a trial and give them a taste, then they get to make their decision. So that could be a downsell. Now, this is a true story of a florist near me. She was selling roses. There were a dozen roses for $50, and she has a physical store, and she always had a sign right outside on the sidewalk that said special price, dozen roses, $50. And she would say some people came in and they didn't want to spend $50 for roses, and she let them walk out. I said, no, come up with a $25 alternative. That could net $8,000 annually. So once you start asking yourself, what could I downsell? And again, I really want you to get this, not what could I discount, what could I downsell? Several years back, I was having really, really bad neck pain, and I went to a chiropractor that I was referred to. And he said, well, you have to come 5 days a week, and you have to come consistently for at least 9 months, maybe a year. And I didn't have insurance for it, and he added it all up, and I was like, oh gosh, no, just forget it. He said, just a minute. Could you come 3 times a week, and could you commit to do that for 3 months? Because I'm pretty sure we could get you started in the right direction. That I committed to. And by the way, I think I've ended up being with him for years and years and years, more than 3 days, because it helps so much. So that's why you want to downsell. He didn't bargain basement me. All right. I love talking about this next one. A revenue producing drip campaign. Now, you're going to hear Terry bias, and even if you disagree with me, just for the purposes of our opportunity together, let this in. And later, if it feels like a tight pair of uncomfortable jeans, just wear it around, and later tonight you could drop it on the floor. Not that any of us have ever had a tight pair of jeans. Most people use things like ClickFunnels. I use ClickFunnels as a landing page. I do not funnel people. I want to make this so crystal clear. I think ClickFunnels is a very brilliant design by Russell Brunson to make Russell Brunson a lot of money. And I don't take that away from him. And I purchase it every single month, and I use it as a lead page. I do not believe in funnels, and I don't like them, and I don't think they're ethical. So let's think about this for a minute. A funnel basically is, here, let me sell you a $9 thing that's really not going to help you. You buy it, and then it's like, wait, that's really not going to help. You need my $97 thing. Then you buy that. Wait, that's really not the answer. The answer is my blah, blah, blah. Wait, and you're in there. So I was sharing with a friend of mine the other day. I went to buy this a metabolism booster protein powder. So I go in to buy this. It's like whatever, $40. I couldn't get out of the funnel. It was upselling me, and finally I abandoned the entire cart. So they sent me an email and they said, why did you leave the cart? I'm like, I would be happy to tell you why I left the cart. Just give me what I want, or give me the answer. So a lot of people think that that's like a drip campaign. It isn't. And a drip campaign has to be done right so you don't annoy people, and you only offer the solution and not a bunch of stuff along the way. So remembering this concept, really important. Like if you don't remember anything else from today, remember this. 80% of all sales happen between the 5th and the 12th touch point. So your business has gotten to someone that many times. How does it keep getting to them? It gets to them through a drip campaign. It's automated. Everything in my business is automated. I'm not doing the things in my business other than meetings like this or working with our client family members. I don't do anything else. Automatic campaigns go out at predetermined times to communicate with people who are prospects. We communicate with them regularly, not by sending out a bunch of buy me, buy me, buy me. I unsubscribe to newsletters all the time that everything they have to say is sell, 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 and not education and value. So let's take a look at this. And we're going to shift and use a different business and case study. Sunroom idea guide. Wondering what a new sunroom would look like in your home. Stunning. This is a real business, 4 seasons, okay? So there's 7 benefits to owning a sunroom, and all of the benefits are listed. From that flyer that can be mailed out or handed out or leave behind. We also created some very good marketing pieces. And by the way, if you think direct mail doesn't work, wake up. There is less and less direct mail. It's super cheap to send and it works. And people all of a sudden over the last years go, I'll just email. Email goes into spam filters. You don't know that it ever got there. Most emails aren't open. We use tracking systems, being very transparent on every email we send. We know, did somebody open it? Did somebody delete it? Did they forward it? Did they sometimes people say to us, I didn't get your email, and we can track it. And I'm just very transparent about this. My software will go this far. Kimberly opened this at 12:07 a.m. in Atlanta, Georgia on her iPhone. 2 days later, she reopened it in Atlanta, Georgia on her iMac. Then she forwarded it over to Steve 3 days later. So I am very transparent about that. We use tracking software to see what happens. And I love when people tell me or somebody in my company, we didn't get that. I didn't get that email. We're like, yeah, you did. Okay. And that's okay. Trust me. I have thought I didn't get some emails too. So direct mail actually really works better and it's not expensive. So we direct mail a postcard. We direct mail benefits. You can do advertising and things like Valpak, which believe me, they work. If you ever realized the same people advertise in Valpak all the time, why do they keep advertising there? It works. They would stop advertising there if it didn't work. So we have ways to also create that within Valpak. And then we've got all these different benefits and photos of here's why you want to get this. Look at this headline. We sit in our sunroom for at least 3 to 4 hours every single day. And so if you ever thought about it, it starts to clue you in and you look at these photos and you want to be there. Most of our customers' biggest sunroom regret, love this, waiting so long to get one. Makes me go, I'd love to have a sunroom. Okay, so we're getting into the prospect's mind. We go through all of the benefits, and each of these matches a benefit. Pay attention to this. Is it true that adding a sunroom to your home can actually increase the value of your home? Yes, by more than the cost of the sunroom, but only 92% of the time. So notice how we're in the prospect's mind. They're like, oh, wait a minute. It's not like spending money. I'm going to make money on this later. Go back to our other case study. Go back to that almost $30,000 revenue increase from Dr. John Smith. And we take the same 300 leads, 60 opt-ins, 6 clients. So if you think about Dr. John Smith, he got 60 opt-ins, but 54 qualified prospects didn't buy. Big word, yet. Where are they in the parade? They just weren't at the front of the parade. So those 54 prospects should be in a drip campaign, not selling them. Please hear me. Nurturing them, educating them, letting them know you understand what they're thinking. So let's just say we're reaching those 54 people in an automated, non-salesy, educational value way. So I'm looking for a dentist and I didn't buy from you, and I went to a dentist and I wasn't crazy about them, and I don't really hear much from my dentist. And then all of the sudden, I'm getting all of this education and value from the dentist or the chiropractor or whoever it is. Let's assume we only get out of that 54 just 2 clients. Again, I'm using really, really, really low numbers. Look at how this begins to add up over the course of a year. So I was at 54 people who didn't buy. I add 2. You just start adding this up over the course of the year. And we keep adding and adding and adding, and exponentially your business has changed. Now you look at the end of the first year, just the squeeze page, we're not talking about anything but the landing page, you would have an additional 72 clients, patients in 12 months. The drip campaign nurtures, nurtures, nurtures. So there were 156 new prospective client family members, patients, or customers that you would not have converted without an automated way to nurture them. And these numbers grow and add up. So take a look at the Dr. John Smith. By the end of a year, he would be generating 30 new patients every single month. And then you'd have the problem that Barbara came to me with. What are we going to do when there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people coming to XYZ person's business, which is what's happening for some of our clients. This is what happens. Now, can that doctor, one doctor, handle that number logistically? We deal with that. All right, so we've looked at leads and conversions. Let's dig into transactions. And this is key. Upsell, cross-sell. Those are writer downers. Upsell, cross-sell. Every one of you needs to have this in your business, an upsell and a cross-sell. Upsell, a higher grade, a higher quality, a higher level. And it's usually right at the point of sale. So let me give you an example. One of my client family members is a business consultant to very, very large businesses, usually Fortune 100. And he was always selling just a diagnostic. That's what they were coming for. And I said, why don't you sell the diagnostic and a consulting package together? So he upsold the two. And we'll get into how he did that in just a moment. Cross-sell is what can complement you. When you're ready to buy, what can complement? So let's say I want to get healthier, get fit, get strong, run a marathon. What else might I need? So when I was training to run my first marathon, I was cross-sold everything from socks and the right orthotics in my shoes and the right sneakers and to outfits and to a special pedometer. I mean, I had like wardrobes of stuff. And they sold me every single thing. And I bought every single thing at the point of sale because they were in my mind going, oh gosh, what else do I need? And they had it all for me. This is what you need to know. And this is very statistical, and people in this industry who do marketing research like me, we all use this number. 34% of prospects will buy additional products or service. Pay attention though, at the point of the sale. So let's think of McDonald's. They didn't wait until you were eating your hamburger to say, oh, by the way, did you want fries? Or did you want a milkshake? Or did you want an apple pie? Or did you want to supersize it? No, it was at the point of sale. You're placing your order and they go, do you want fries with that? Do you want an apple pie with that? Do you want to supersize it? At the point of sale. McDonald's raked in millions and millions of dollars just by using this upsell technique. So here's an auto service center, and they have an annual program, as you can see here. An upsell is to sell people to an annual program. So normally I'm like, oh, I'm going to get my oil changed. And they're like, oh, you know what? We have a program where you can pay and you can get 12 oil changes or 6 or 3 or whatever. There's a place that I buy tires from that does this quarterly tire maintenance checkup. So I didn't just buy my tires from them. Now I'm the member, and they did it at point of sale. And let's use another example, a dentist. They offer basic dental services, right? Every dentist does exams and teeth cleaning. And having worked with dentists for so many years and so many dentists, I understand that these basic dental services aren't where they make their money. The vast majority of dentists, the revenue really comes from either cosmetic services, root canals, crowns, fillings, braces, all these other things that we have to have done. So what might convince someone who's happy at their dentist? You know, I have a good dentist, I've been there. Why would I even think of leaving my dentist? So let's just say, and I don't know if this number is accurate anymore. This was accurate as of a few years ago. Let's just use it for today. 85% of the population has medical insurance, but only 50% has dental. And I actually think it may be less than that. I don't know that for a fact. So a few years ago, people without dental insurance said, basically, we don't go to the dentist because it's not covered. 44% of the people are like, I just don't go, or I don't go regularly because I can't. I recently talked to people and asked how many times a year do you go to the dentist? And many people said once every other year or once a year. And I asked why, and they said, it's expensive. There's an opportunity here if you're a dentist. There's a big opportunity here. What do you think? And this relates to everyone's business. So you're going, I'm not a dentist. Think about your business. What might happen if a dentist just targeted the families that didn't have dental insurance and basically offered them the same service that people get with dental insurance, but without an expensive premium that people pay for dental insurance? Well, we created this to do just that. No problem, no dental insurance? Think no dental insurance means you can't see the dentist? Think again. Quality dental care for families with no dental insurance. Only the Richardson dentist offers copay prices for routine exams, even if you don't have insurance. Now, I just want you to really focus on this for a minute. Most dentists have the same marketing message. Whiten your teeth, crowns, pain for, I mean, I look at dental websites and ads and like the same thing. I could replace anyone's name. Not here, we couldn't. We customize this to the target audience and they start thinking in the minds of their patients. So the dentist, by offering a routine exam and cleaning for $25, which was the normal copay they were getting with insurance, was still covering their cost of the treatment. And better than that, catch this, because they didn't even care. Like she said, man, I don't care if I even get the $25 for these things. We'll clean somebody's teeth real quick or do a routine exam real quick. It's a chance to upsell additional services that actually people need. The crowns, the dentures, the braces, the stuff that has the money in it. So the oil place doesn't just make money from the one oil change, they're upselling. Let's look at another example. Let's cross-sell. We're going to use a restaurant as an example. Think about this when you were back in restaurants in the days we went out. I've worked with a lot of restaurants. There's two places where they make a lot of money. One is in appetizers and two, and the biggest is in alcoholic beverages. Okay, and the third actually is in dessert. So we would teach all of the staff to come with a cart and show the appetizers. Before you order and before you begin, I wanted to show you what we have in case you wanted to order one of our appetizers. Okay, that is cross-selling. You're going to order your main dish. What else can we add into it? Another restaurant, I work with this restaurant in Mexico, and what they do is when you sit down, they come and they greet you and they say, oh, we're going to bring something really special over to your table. And as you're sitting there, they bring over these samples about this big of 4 different drinks. They're not alcoholic. They're just all different homemade drinks. And they say, please taste our drinks. We really are happy to bring this to you. People are so excited they're going to get these 4 wonderful drinks. 96% of the people order one of those drinks with their meal, which is an extra $5.50 per person. Okay, cross-selling something with the meal. So now think about the one that makes a lot more money also is the dessert cart comes, right? Now they were wheeling a dessert cart around when I started working with them, and not that many people were taking dessert because their food is very filling. And so I said, well, let's switch that up a little bit. Let's just give little bite-sized samples of some desserts. Guess what? I'm really full. I can't eat dessert. You eat the free sample and you're like, okay, we're going to get this dessert. Even if you split it with the table, they were selling an average of 2 desserts per table when before they weren't even selling 1. This is the difference. This is the difference. And there is a little bit of I have so much trouble with it, reciprocity. And here's why. I'm not a believer in let me do something for you as a way to get you to do something for me. And I can tell when someone's doing that and it's a motive. I am a believer in giving value, value, value. And I take that Baskin-Robbins thing very, very seriously. Let me just give people taste without any expectation of anything. 0. Just because I choose to and just because I want to. What does happen in the human brain very often is we did something, I want to do something back. And I have a true example of this. Unfortunately, my husband's mom passed away early Sunday morning, and yesterday we had a very awkward funeral during social distancing. It was quite strange. And a friend of ours had lost her mom under these same coronavirus conditions. And when the mom passed away, we sent food to the house so that when they got home from the funeral, there would be a nice catered dinner. We did a couple of other things. We certainly didn't do it saying, oh, I hope someday if Mark's mother dies, somebody will feed us, right? We definitely didn't go into it that. We cared. So about 2 or 3 hours ago, several hours ago, we got a phone call that said, we have a food delivery and this is how we're going to be delivering it to your home. And, you can't be at the front door. And we're like, who's delivering food? We didn't order food. That was the same person doing it for us. And that's just how people are programmed. That's how people think. Please don't do it with that motive. Okay. I can tell when somebody does something for me and like they're waiting for me to do something back. So do it because you choose to do it. So taking the restaurant, the increase of total order revenue with upsell strategy was gigantic. And one of the other things is if you can probably realize this in restaurants. I love this in restaurants. So our chef really recommends that you get the surf and turf and blah, 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 and tell you how great it is. And that's my personal favorite. And then you look at the menu and of course the surf and turf is the most expensive thing. Recently, before this all happened, I was in a restaurant and I was picking a bottle of wine. And the sommelier came over and said, oh, may I just tell you that instead of that, this is the best. And he went on and on. I didn't even pay attention, which I probably should have. And I ordered the wine. When the bill came, I almost fell on the floor because the wine I was ordering was $46 and the wine that I ended up drinking, which was amazing, was almost $140, okay? Isn't it interesting that the personal recommendations are usually higher? Staff is trained to do that. Now, I don't recommend, Heartrepreneur means transparency, authenticity, and integrity. It does not mean recommend the highest price thing. It does mean that if it resonates, then do it. So let me give you an example of that. Barbara and I were talking about a potential client family member and accepting them into a program. She said, they're not right for your 1-year program, Terry. They're right for this other program. That's what, $97 a month. So we're not like, when we talk to people going, oh, can we get the most money from them? I want you to always be in integrity. It's really, really important. And I will tell you that most patrons in restaurants, they do go with recommendations very highly. It can go up anywhere from 10 to 15%. I work with a lot of spas and beauty salons and gyms, and I have for a long time now, and I've written several books for each of those categories. And in all of those categories, using upsell, cross-sell, and recommendations, it has made a giant difference. Personal trainer that I work with, she started and she was just doing training sessions, and I had her do packages, and then the revenue went up. And then I had her recommend at-home gym equipment that she made a profit from, and that went up. And every time she makes a personal recommendation, she has all this sales. And that's just the way it is. If I trust you and you're the expert and you recommend something, I'm going to go with it. So I have a guy that does some social media stuff on LinkedIn. He's really, really good. And he came back to me and said, well, for $3,000, I'm going to recommend that we do this and this and this. I didn't even ask what this and this was. Okay. It's his personal recommendation and I trust him. All right, let's look at this one. Expanding your products or your services and increasing your revenue. So I like to give case studies. We'll use a landscaper. They went out to joint venture partners and said, look, we don't do this. Would you do tree trimming if our customers need it? We don't do decks. Would you do it? We don't do fences. We don't do stonework, sprinkler systems. We don't install them. A lot of our clients ask about swimming pools, outdoor kitchens, outdoor lighting, patio installation, snow removal. My own cleaning person just cleans. And I said, I really need my windows done. Now, she could have said, oh, here's somebody who does great windows, okay? A friend of mine who also uses the same cleaning lady said, gosh, I wish she knew somebody who did carpets. She could have all of these people lined up, as could all of you. The landscaper could easily negotiate 10%, and some people give 25% in affiliate. Here's why somebody gives higher affiliate commission. I give ridiculous affiliate commission if I do an affiliate deal, and let me tell you why. If I needed to do marketing, and I needed to spend money on advertising and creatives and time and energy and resources, that's expensive. I personally rather spend my time not hunting for anyone, just focusing on my client family members and delivering value, value, value. That's it. Get the people that I have results. Why are they called client family members? This is relevant. In my life, the most important people are my family. That's number one in my world. Number two in my world are my client family members. And I think of them as family. I'm in a relationship with them, a long-term relationship. I have had many clients who are still with me for more than 16 years. I have 1, 2, 3, 5 that have been with me for all 26 years that I have been doing this business. So they're family. Why would somebody leave if you have embraced them as such? So if one of you said to me, hey, Terry, I have a whole bunch of people that could really use your help, I would happily say, oh, if they're just like you and if there's somebody that's ready and willing and that I can help, here's 10, 25%. So I want you to think about that. Your revenue goes up dramatically when you do joint ventures, dramatically. So I'm a marketing strategist. I have something that has expanded my products and service line, which is online e-learning educational system. As a part of that, there's weekly strategic marketing webinars. There's a weekly workshop on how to apply what you've been learning. Kimberly knows about some of this stuff. There's a weekly Ask the Expert call. There's a monthly mastermind. There's all of these different things. Back in the day when we got out of the house, there was monthly lunch and learns. This is just an example of all the different ways that you can expand upon what you're currently doing. We do a guaranteed, we will get you listed on the first page of Google in your area. If you're, a dentist in Danville, Illinois, we'll get you there. If you're a chiropractor in San Diego, we'll get you there. And we guarantee that. So the marketing strategist begins to say, what can I do to expand versus just, I'm a marketing strategist. There's a million people that do that. All right, now in this pandemic, I put this in to discuss this because it's so important. This discounting stuff is just, I called it madness, but it's maddening to me. I saw someone giving all their programs and services away and basically saying, no, you can't afford anything. First of all, what? How do they know that? And second of all, what they said is, you pay whatever you can pay. So I reached out to them and I'm like, so what do you normally charge? And he's like, $1,900. I said, okay. What are people paying? Oh, almost nobody's paying anything. Well, of course not. You basically just said it's not really worth anything because I can discount it down to zero. So please, instead of discounting, get this word, it's another writer downer, bundling. Bundling is so important. So what is bundling? Think of it as grouping like-minded things together, a package. You take like-minded products and services, put them together. So think Amazon. Amazon's been so good at this forever. You go to buy a book and Amazon says, other customers who bought this book also like, all right? So the other day, I buy books like crazy. I'm a crazy book reader. I'm buying a book and as I'm about to check out, it said something like, do you know there's also a workbook and an updated version? I'm like, oh, well, okay, I'll get the workbook also. So here I'm buying a $20 book, now I'm buying a $20 workbook. And then it said, and right now with your Audible membership, you can also get the Audible for, it was like $1.99. Okay, I'll get that too. And then I'm ready to check out. And then they show me another book by the author and the author, oh, I'll get that. By the time I was out of the cart, instead of the 20 bucks I was spending, I spent $89. And I was laughing to myself going, I know what they're doing. And yet I know that for me, those books will be valuable. That's bundling. Please, again, integrity, transparency, authenticity. Don't throw a bunch of stuff in there and go, this is really worthless, but I'll just throw it in there. You've all seen this, and this does not resonate with me, especially people do this at events. Normally at an event, I would sell this for $25,000. Big red line through it. But today, I'm going to discount it. And it's $1,900, and with it, you're going to get this widget and this 50, and most of those things you don't need or want. I can't tell you how many people have sent me 50 million bonuses, and every few months I go to my computer and go delete, 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 delete. Okay, just be honest and give people what they need and what will help them. And here's how it makes you stand out. What people try to compare is a dentist, a chiropractor, a realtor, a mortgage broker, an attorney, or whatever. And they go, that looks like that. That looks like that. When someone looks different, they're willing to invest more in the different person. Using my personal trainer. When I first went to hire her, she sounded like most personal trainers. I come to your house and and she's this much money, which was like the standard rate. And then when I started working with her and she became my client, I said, Regina, we're going to change this. You're not going to look like other personal trainers. You're going to double your prices. She was like, oh, I'm like, no, and here's why. And here's what you're going to add in. So we added in things that made sense. Regina has a brilliant nutritional program. Regina had written a journal that went with that and was giving it to people. Regina also insisted that you use these certain exercise bands. Now, when you get Regina, double the price of every other personal trainer, you got all this stuff plus a weekly video workout with her. Nobody else was doing it. So instead of paying Regina what she was making, which was $50 an hour, I started paying Regina what her clients paid her now, which is $100 an hour, because she's not apples to apples. She's standalone and the price didn't matter anymore. Hear me. When we talk to customers, and I've worked with over 260 different industries, so nothing is new for me. I've been doing this a long time. And we talk and we survey them. We say, why did you pick so-and-so? It's not your price. It's the value your product or service delivers. And most businesses, you all have value. The truth is, most businesses are not great at conveying value in a value proposition format, which we call a core unique positioning statement. Core unique positioning statement. That is a registered trademark of Heartrepreneur. So when there's apples to apples, the only way that I can compare you is price. And I'll give you a true example of that. I was looking to buy a new car, which after this is all over, I will. And I talked to 3 different dealers and I was just price shopping. I think that's kind of how I've always bought a car. And this one dealer said to me, I'm not going to be able to match the price that you got. So I was ready to get off the phone because it was a phone conversation. He said, however, we do something that I know nobody else does. I said, what's that? He said, number one, we always guarantee a loaner and we drop it off at your house so you don't have to drive to us. So, okay, now he's saving me time and gas, and I'm kind of liking that. He said, number two, before we bring your car back, it's always washed in and out. He said, and number three, we do free oil changes, tire rotation, and something else for the lifetime of your car. He said, so add that up, and then the price that you got from the other dealers that are less, and I think you'll see, and he didn't even finish the statement. I'm like, I'm buying my car from him. The value proposition made it worth it to me. In my experience in working with 6,000 plus people, the key to success in marketing is to outvalue your competition. And by the way, all of you, you all have competition, whether you think you do or not. Everyone has competition. I can identify them for you. And if you outvalue them, they can't compete with you. So when I first started in the coaching and consulting industry, I priced myself the way everybody did. I didn't know any better. And then all of a sudden, people were getting all these results and they were raving about me, and I started to bundle. And then I started to double my prices. People continued to pay me because they saw the additional value that other people weren't giving them. No one else was guaranteeing them a certain percentage of revenue growth or and offering them their money back or $5,000. More value, you don't look like apples to apples. I have found that prospective client family members will pay twice the price, pay attention now, if they feel they're getting 4 times the value. Twice the price for 4 times the value. Here's the problem, especially pandemic problem. People are just like, I better discount. And then I look at these discounts and there's not enough profit margin to be successful. So several years ago, I wrote an article about why a company should never use Groupon. And I had case study after case study of people whose margins were destroyed by Groupon or Living Social, destroyed. You have to really pay attention and not lower your prices. I was showing Barbara an example with a client that we just brought on. if your business discounted your price by just 10%, so it's pandemic and people are doing more than that, you have to sell 50% more just to break even. And I was showing her this with somebody, a real example. So let's just take this. You sell this widget and it's $100 and you have a 30% profit margin. So every time I sell a widget, I make $30. So my cost base for the widget is $70. Now I'm going to discount the widget because it's a pandemic. I'm not going to sell it for 100. I'm going to sell it for 90. So now my cost base hasn't changed. My cost base to sell $70, I'm making $20 in profit instead of 30. So in order for that business to make $1,000 in profit selling their widget at $100 each, they have to sell 33.3 widgets, okay? Now, really pay attention because this will knock your socks off. Now they're going to discount. It's pandemic. We're going to give a 10% discount. Now, instead of having to sell 33.3 widgets, they have to sell 50. They have to sell 50% more widgets to get back to their original profit margin. That is bad business and doesn't make sense. And let's really think about it, especially pandemic. A measly 10%, that's not what people are doing. I'm looking through these emails I'm getting, 20% off, 40% off. And then I'm seeing company after company declaring bankruptcy. Well, of course you are. You can't be in business with those kind of discounts. And research has actually shown, and this has been for many years now, that discounts do not impact someone's buying decision unless the discount is more than 40%, and pandemic is 50. So you really want to give away your products and services? No. Here's what you want to do, and it is the, up until now, closely guarded secret, and now it's the public secret. And this is what other people who are doing this, or I've taught this, don't want you to know. Stop discounting. Okay. My favorite Bob Newhart, you can watch this on YouTube. My favorite one ever, Bob Newhart's counseling and therapy advice to someone is stop it. He says it over and over and over again, always makes me chuckle. And I feel like saying that all, stop discounting, just stop it. It doesn't make any sense. Instead, what Barbara and I actually love to do is help you innovate. Just innovate. So what your business does is a core unique positioning. You stand out. You're offering more value than the competition. You can increase your price. I had a price increase during the pandemic. I'm making more money during the pandemic with a price increase because I said, how can I innovate and give even more value? When you discount your price, you lose the full value of every dollar you discount. And then think about this. Let's talk about the person who's doing these programs and says, pay whatever you want. If that person ever wants to go back to their full price, I'd be like, why should I pay you that? Why should I possibly pay you that? I'm not going to pay you that. It wouldn't make sense. And so I won't pay you that. So what you have to do is just increase the value, increase the value, increase the value. That's the most important thing that you can do. Let's take this example. A home builder or a remodeling contractor. These are both really good examples. And, you know, they always contract with suppliers of certain things and they get volume discounts, right? So, you know, whether they have a roofer or a floor or a sheetrock, whatever. So take this example and really think about your own business. What if they said, I'm going to buy multiple packages of a whole house system. It's got entertainment system. It's a security system. It's got, you know, big 50-inch HD TV, a high quality surround sound. It's got home security, surveillance, cameras everywhere, fire protection, you know, full monitoring. And I'm going to buy multiple packages of these, not just one. I'm going to buy a whole bunch of them. So if you take a look at the retail price for this package, and the retail price would be for one, $22,800 installed. But the builder acquired them because they were buying a package, a lot of them, for only $6,500. And installation, by the way, would not be part of the cost because the builder is already there. The builder can install it. He's got the people there, the home's down to the studs. So the installation crew, his crew is already there, and they simply handle it while they're building the home. Now think about this. This is really critical. The builder is competing apples to apples with other builders in a moderately priced neighborhood. So let's say the builders, in this case, they're building homes for about $150,000. But this builder says, our home's $156,500. Our home's different, and we're apples to apples. It includes standard, a home security and entertainment system, normally $22,800. Just think about that. Would somebody pay an extra $6,500? I would buy from the second builder and say, yeah, put that in my house. It's $22,000, almost $23,000 bucks. Yeah, I'll take it. So what if, in fact, the builder said, well, I'm not going to charge $156,500. What if the builder said, well, let the other homes go for $150,000 that our competitors are doing, or apples. We're going to be the orange. We're going to sell a home for $160,000, and we're still going to put in this entertainment system. Well, let me just tell you, that did not prevent people from buying the home. Think about it. What looks like a better deal? $150,000 home without the system, or the home that has all the difference? Now, the builder could have said, I'm going to still build the home for $150,000 and I'm going to lower my profit margin, if the builder chose to, and wasn't apples to apples, still was apples to oranges. This gives them the possibility of doubling their volume and almost doubling their profits every year. They're making around a 30% profit at $150,000. A home remodeler, by the way, could use the same positioning. Think about your own business, because it translates to every one of your businesses. Do you see the potential here? So here's the actual collateral. Get the same home theater media room normally reserved for $1 million homes free. So I'm looking at this $150,000 home that doesn't have this. And, you know, I'm not $1 million home, but oh my God, I can get this package? You start to take a look at that. Here's another piece of collateral. Get the same home theater and whole home house audio setup normally reserved for $1 million homes, right? Interrupt, engage, all included free for a limited time in your inventory. Okay, and here's it again and again and again. We use this all the time, free in every home. Free in our competitor's home, and I really still dig this. We showed were telephone jacks and cables, because that's what most builders do. And then we show $1 million homes that have it, and look, your home can have it also. This is a big strategy. I hope you're really seeing the value and the importance of the strategy. It's a great strategy. All right, now let's take a look at cutting costs. And I laugh about this one because I do this every month in my business. So I meet with my team and I always think there's nothing else we could cut. And then we sit down and I'm like, what is this thing we're paying for? So just yesterday, I see a charge go through for $99. I'm like, what is that charge? And I look it up. Well, it's a service that I probably haven't used in 5 years. So now just do the math, $99 a month for 5 years. It's a heck of a lot of money, and I wasn't noticing it. Years ago, I loved Dan Kennedy, and I used to be in a program of his, and it was $19 a month. I was only in the program for 15 years at $19 a month and hadn't even opened anything for 8 years. It's just, it was 19 bucks and I didn't pay attention. You have costs that you can cut. And this is an important time to be cutting costs because it gives you more profits. And there's 2 major ways to increase your overall profitability. Very simple, like real obvious. One, you either increase your revenue, as 2, you decrease the cost of doing business. So you can do it by raising your prices, which in a pandemic you might think sounds crazy, and trust me, it's smart. When I ask most small business owners, when did you raise your price last? The answer is never, okay? I raise my prices all the time. Why? My cost of doing business goes up. Things are more expensive. My office, my overhead, things are more money than they used to be. And here's the big reason, and this was me years ago, so I'll be always transparent about this. I was scared, and so client family members been like, oh no, people are gonna leave, everyone's gonna leave. So here's a true story. 26 years ago, this is like crazy to talk about this, I charged $250 a month for 4 hours of coaching time with me. That was the quote norm in the industry. And I didn't know any better than I'm going to look like an apple. And then at the end of the first year, I realized that all I did was created another job. I was trading time for hours, and I was repeating the same thing over and over again. I'd have a private session with Denise and Stuart. I would then meet with Kimberly, and I would go, God, the thing I just said to Denise, how funny, I just said it to Kimberly. She needed to hear it also. And then I realized, wow, if I said it to Kimberly and Denise at the same time, there could be synergy and conversation. And I also realized I couldn't serve a lot of people and help a lot of people. And so I raised my prices dramatically. I quadrupled them. I was scared that I would have no clients. I'm always telling the truth here. That's not what happens. Trust me, I've been doing this with thousands of people. So let's say that you have the same widget and you sell it for $100 and you take my advice and you say, all right, Terry, I'm going to sell it 10% more, tiny little number. It's going to be 110 now. Really answer this question for yourself. Really, do you think that tiny little 10% increase is going to cause people to leave? Because if I like you and I'm happy with your products and services, I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying right with you. So let's just say, well, a few leave. When I've raised my prices, which I have now done every year for 24 years, pretty dramatically, the most I have ever lost in a year is one person because of the price increase. One. Here's what really happens. Those are my price shoppers. They're not real loyal to me or my business. They're not family members. They're like, whatever. And usually they're not the biggest action takers. So let me explain that to you. If you wanted to lose weight and you could pay Weight Watchers $12 a week, and you paid them, and then you went home and your family said, oh, we really want pizza and ice cream, there's a good chance for $12. You're like, all right, fine, I'll start my diet tomorrow. If you paid somebody $3,000 for a weight loss program, and you came home after spending $3,000 and your family said, we want pizza and ice cream, you might say, great, I'll order that for you guys, I'm having a salad. The people who are most committed pay the most. Let's just say there is some customer attrition. So the business is making an additional $10, right? $10 more in the widget, and that's all profit. Just so you understand this, that's a 33% profit increase. So for this business to make $1,000 in profit selling this widget at $100, they have to sell 33.3 widgets. Now, 10% price increase, they only have to sell 25 widgets. Think about your business. Do you want to get more and more and more people, or is it easier to get fewer people and have to do less sales and less marketing? So just to break even, they could literally lose 25% of their customers over this 10% increase. They could afford to lose them, and they would just break even. So believe me, you're not going to lose 25%. It's never happened. I've done this with 6,000 people. It's not going to happen. It hasn't happened for them. It won't happen for you. I believe in erring on the side of caution and testing the increase. We always do it on a small scale. We don't like roll it out across all your clients or patients. We do it on a small scale. We test it. But let me just tell you, for today, pandemic, there's nothing faster or easier to generate additional revenue than a price increase. Now you do have a second option, and that is to decrease your costs of doing business. And this is, unfortunately, this is happening because of the pandemic, but it's cutting labor costs. It's maybe going and saying, do I really need somebody 40 hours a week or 36 hours a week? Or could I have a contractor and not an employee? Or could I have a virtual assistant from the Philippines or Malaysia who charges less, or whatever? It's looking at labor costs. Both Barbara and I, during the pandemic, have said, we're not paying for our offices. We don't know when we're going to be back in our offices. Why would we continue to pay? And by the way, I already know that when I go back, I'm going to negotiate a much lower rate with my office. So look at every single thing. These things add up. And yes, you may need to have labor to operate your business, but the truth is you're going to be creating exponential business growth. You need the labor, especially when you see how much more business growth you'll have. I prefer increasing profits. Instead of bringing on new people, I use interns, colleges, high schools, I have marketing interns, business interns, I've had photographers, I've had PowerPoint creators, social media. I don't pay people for these things. These are students that I negotiate with at local colleges and universities, and I offer an internship. And in exchange, they get college credits, they get a great reference letter from me, and very often I have hired them and they have gone on to work in my company. So, and we've got all the letters and how you negotiate these with the colleges and universities, but it's pretty simple. You contact local colleges, universities, you offer the internship. And by the way, because I have interns, I'm doing it virtual right now. All my interns are working virtually, and I have marketing people, I have social media people, and people in business administration. So, sometimes people are like, oh, how are you doing all of the stuff you're doing? Well, it's not me. Number one, there's a lot of automation. And number two, there's a lot of free hands on deck working here. The students love the internships, and the schools actually really like giving students real world experience. And, I call them kids. I said to my nephew yesterday, he's like, Aunt Terry, do you understand that I'm 38? I'm like, you're a kid. You'll always be a kid to me. It's just the way it is. But, they've been out of the classroom nowadays, obviously, but I've done this a lot with junior colleges. And, after going to school for that many years, people are like, oh, they loved the fact that they could come to my office and they could get credit while they were actually doing work in my office. In some cases where I have several that are working for me, four that are working for me virtually right now, they're thrilled. They're getting real world experience. And as I said, it's great on their resume. It gives them a jump start in getting a career. And I've hired a whole bunch of these people in the course of my businesses. I love them because I'm not paying. They're getting college hours. So just look at how you can save thousands and thousands of dollars a year. By the way, I've done this with virtual assistants for many, many, many years. Many, many, many years. So let's add up the additional revenue that we found for your business. We talked about a bunch of strategies. We talked about advertising. We talked about joint ventures, downsell, drip campaign, upsell, cross-sell, expanding your offerings, bundling, and cutting price and costs. Your homework from this call is actually to go through and say, what is that additional revenue? How much revenue did I really find? Now, I want you to understand that the revenue is not a one-time increase. It's revenue that you will generate year after year after year, as long as you, and I will say this, I really mean this, diligently execute these strategies. This is what most business owners do. They start a strategy and they're like, oh yeah. And then shiny object syndrome, they're distracted. Oh, I'm busy with patients, I'm busy with this. And they forget that in order to make a business incredibly profitable, you have to put these strategies in play all the time. The reason that I have been able to personally grow 8 multi-million-dollar businesses in all different industries for myself is not because I'm that smart. I'm really not. I was a C student, okay? I'm not that smart. It is because I am very diligent about putting systems into my business and operating them every single day. So I took my first business where I knew nothing about business, sales, or marketing. And back almost 43 years ago, I grew that to $1 million business when $1 million was a lot of money back then. And then I kind of figured it out that, hey, this is formulaic. I started my second business, and within a very short amount of time, 7 years, built that to $12 million, applying the same formula in a completely different industry. And then I went on, and don't think that this is replicatable because I've never been able to do this again. I went on to do a startup business with me and 2 partners that we took from 0 to 88 million, a healthcare business, in less than 3 months. Now, we were in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing. However, it was all about being diligent and following strategies. When I started my coaching and consulting business, I just figured everybody in the coaching industry their first year did about 500,000 because I didn't know any better. And then when the International Coach Federation asked me to come speak, and I was their keynote speaker, and I said, well, how many of you are making $1 million? And not one person raised their hand, and they've been in the industry longer than me. I'd only been in a year. How many are making 500,000? And a room full of people just stared at me, and I was like, what is going on here? How many of you make 250? Nothing. how many of you make 100,000? And nobody's hand went up. I'm like, wait a minute, what am I missing here? And then as I started to meet with people and talk to people, like, they are not using strategies and they're not diligently applying them. So when we took, this example of just these minute, really 10%, if I was only getting people 10% or Barbara was, we should be fired. 30 to 50% is more the norm. But just look, like going back to what we said, somebody starts at around 62.5, they're easily at almost 101,000. Okay, that's just 10% in each area. 50%, which is on the higher side and still very realistic, 30 to 50, then you're taking that person from 62.5 and we're taking that person to almost 200,000, 174 something. So you start looking at your business and say, what did I actually uncover here? And then if you're curious and say, I wonder what my revenue would really look like at 50% higher. Let me really have you breathe this in. When you execute all 8 of these strategies, now what you have is what I mentioned at the beginning, which is what almost every business lacks, a system. Let me explain this. Do any of you, raise your hand if this is true for you, any of you ever think you might want to sell your business or pass it on to your kids or leave a legacy? Does that resonate for anyone? Okay, let me look at both screens. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, because if the answer is no, let me explain this to you. All you have is a job. I really want you to get this. Someone who goes into business without what Stephen Covey talked about. We co-authored a book together, Blueprint for Success, years ago. And Stephen Covey said, the problem with business is the owner does not have an end in mind. You go into business with an end in mind, and there's only 2 reasons to have a business. Otherwise, you can have a job. Create a legacy and leave a dynasty. What do I mean by that? A legacy is I've done something great in the world, and a dynasty is I can pass it on. If your business means that you do all the work and that's how money comes in, what if you're not here anymore? What if you decide you want to be in when we travel again, beach in Tahiti for 2 months? Where's the money coming from? What if one day you, God forbid, are ill and you can't work? Where's the money coming from? So if you go, well, I'm the only one who can do the work, that is not a business. That's a job. That's a job. A business, and I buy businesses and I sell businesses, means you have 8 strategies that are systematized and consistently generate leads. Every single day in my business, we have leads. Like I was chatting with my husband when I had my lunch break, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a crazy day. We have over 36 leads. I'm prioritizing because there's no way I have time or opportunity to speak with 36 people. I have to see who's right. In addition to that, Barbara and I both chat with people, and we have an ongoing number of people that we do accept. So it's consistent people that we're saying yes to, and many that we say no to. You must all systematize your business. It has to be self-sustaining. My business runs without me. Yesterday, I took the day off. I attended my husband's mom's funeral. We left early in the morning because we had to go to another state, and it was a very long day. Business came in, money came in, leads came in. I didn't need to do anything. It still works without me. So here's what I have, and this is what I really want for all of you. Economic freedom. Yes, there's a pandemic, and I said to a few people, I feel weird saying this. It's not affecting me. It's not affecting me. I'm actually making more money, and my business runs the same way it runs. It's not affecting me. But more importantly than financially for me is time. I have freedom. For those of you who don't know, my husband and I have 3 homes. We're actually putting an offer on a 4th home right now because they're basically giving it away. These people can't afford their mortgage payments, and we're willing to literally buy their house for almost nothing. And it looks like it's going to happen. Unseen, by the way. It was a virtual tour online, so it was a little strange. So we have a home in Mexico where we live 3 to 4 months a year. Barbara has joined me there. We have a home here in Philadelphia where I normally don't spend very much time, but I've been here for quite a while now and maybe here for quite a while longer. And then we have a beach house right on the shore in New Jersey. And now we're in the process of buying a house. My husband's thing is golf. And since it looks like we're going to play golf again, buying a house on a golf course in Florida that he I just can't believe we're buying literally for nothing. I'm sharing that with you because it's not the economic freedom for me personally. That's nice. I like it. I'm not dissing it. I give 90% of my personal money to the Terry Levine Foundation for Children with Reflex Sympathetic Dystrophy, and I have for years and years and years. So it's not about money for me, although I do want to give money away. For my husband and I, it's freedom of time. It's time. We sit on 4 nonprofit boards. We have plenty of time together. We have time with friends, with family. We have time for hobbies. I am very into working out. I have time to work out. I have time to read. I'm into spiritual practices. I'm an author of 45 books. I have time to write. I have time to be here and to dedicate this time to all of you. It's a choice. I choose to when I want to. I want that for all of you, where you have that kind of freedom. It makes a big difference. So if you think about it, somebody builds me a website. Roger, where's Roger? Let me see if I can look at Roger. There he is. So Roger builds me a website and I pay him for that. And then Roger's done with me. He's like, gotta go find another client. That's not a good business model. And I'm using that as an example. When you execute all 8 strategies, you always have new client, family members, prospects, patients, they're sitting in your pipeline. Advertising and drip campaigns run automatically. So every day you get more and more interested people. You have joint ventures sending you revenue. I just got a check from someone I joint venture with. I buy all his products and services. I have for 20 something years. Barbara knows him, Mark Joyner. Gosh, for 25 years now. I love Mark Joyner. And he came up with something that I'm in love with. And I'm like, Mark, can I go share this with my people? He's like, yes, go ahead. And he said, oh, I want to pay you a little something. So every month it's about $900 that just falls into my account. I'm not doing anything. And if I think that a client could use it, I'm like, you know what? I use this every day. I have for 25 years. If you want it, I'll tell you about it. And I'm not trying to sell something that I don't believe in. Executing upsells, downsells, cross-sells. This takes place in our company all the time, every single day. Additional products and services we could help people with. We use this video that you all got, a video from me. It's a video service. Do I get paid on it? Yeah, I get paid on it. And it's certainly, as Barbara knows, not why I recommend it. I get paid a few bucks a month. I love it. And it's made a huge difference in my business, so I share it. Higher pricing. I will tell you that people willingly pay higher value because they don't compare me to another Apple. I don't look like the other Apples, and definitely lowering costs. So I'm going to make you a real value proposition here because you've given me your time. And this is not something that Barbara and I are going to do much longer. We're going to find you each now customized and individually a minimum of 10,000. I'm using a ridiculous number, more likely 50,000. Somebody, what did I find the other day? 133,000, and then last week 247. What we're going to do, because you now understand these 8 strategies, we're going to give you time to get on a Zoom, and it'll be with Barb. Probably it may be with me, but it'll probably be with Barb because I don't have a lot of these times right now, and Barbara was kind enough to open up her schedule to literally do a customized blueprint. Now you do have to apply for it just to make sure that she can help you. But here's what she's going to do. She's going to go through and customize what we talked about today. So let's say I gave an example of, Dr. John Smith, or I gave an example, there was a business strategist, or I gave an example of a web person, or whatever. You're like, I don't know how to use that in my business. We're going to customize the strategy so you can actually implement it. A focus group for me is giving you information, having you focus on that, and then you use the information. So we are going to ask you to apply so she can make sure she can customize it. I want to be really clear. You've probably all been through this where somebody offers you like a conversation and you get on and it's a sales pitch. I want to be very, very clear. This is not a sales pitch in disguise. We have this profit acceleration software that she actually will customize and work for you. So you will actually see how to apply this in your business. That is our goal, is to use the software with more people who now understand what the strategies are and are going, how do I actually put them in place? So you will need to apply. The application is at speakwithbarb.com. Boy, that's an easy one. Speakwithbarb.com. If for some reason she doesn't take you, please don't be offended and don't ask, why not? There are certain things she's looking for to make sure that we can help you systematize and implement all age strategies. And then she will give you in 45 minutes, not only the customized strategies for your business, you will actually see this profit assessment. So now you can say, how much am I going to make with a joint venture, and how much am I going to make by increasing my leads or decreasing my costs with just you, nobody else, private, you and your real numbers. So that is what we have at speakwithbarb.com. I really recommend, now that you understand the basics, the focus of where you need to be, you implement. And the final word I have to say about that is, I remember this saying from many, many years ago: when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? There's two types of people in the world. There's people who the teacher keeps appearing and the student is not paying any attention, right? You know, there's like knock, knock, and they're hitting you over the head with it. In your case, we selected out of 27 people, we selected a handful of people. You're here. That is because we think that you can implement all of these strategies. And we want to do more of these customized blueprints and use the software so we have more case studies for a magazine article that we're writing. So being transparent, there's a reason. You will get massive value at the end of that 45 minutes. You will have a customized blueprint, and at the same time, we will have more case studies. I highly recommend that you do this. Don't be the person who keeps getting knocked in the head and is like not paying attention. So we've been here, we've been focused. Speakwithbarb.com, and I will tell you, Barb's been with me for a long time now. She's master certified in all of my processes. We work together. She's part of the Heartrepreneur team. I really do feel so honored and privileged to have her. She's amazing. You will love her. You will love her. Kimberly already knows her. She's just amazing, and she will find you value. So I have two requests as we say goodbye. Number one, if you got value from our time today, I would love to have something that says that, just so I know when I devote, quite a bit of my time, that it was worth it and that I helped in some way, shape, or form. So however that looks to you, that would mean the world to me. And then the second thing is, when you work with Barb and she finds you value in the customized blueprint, to let her know that that has brought value also, because that's why we're here. That's why we show up every day doing what we do. Want to just finally say, it's just been fun for me to look at all your wonderful faces, and I saw so many of you taking notes, and I'm really, really glad. And now the step is implementation. Otherwise, it's just like everything else. You get exposure to something and you go back to the way things were. Hear me on the last thought. We have been helping, Barbara and I, people through this pandemic since literally day one, and people are making more and more money, not less money. So I don't care where you live. I don't care what you do, who your clients, who your patients, who your customers are. We want to help you. So I care. Barb cares. You all matter. Thank you for the time, the attention, and reach out. Go to speakwithbarb.com, and you can reach out to me on Facebook. You know where to find me, Heartrepreneurs with Terry Levine, if there's anything else that I can do for you. So for now, virtual hugs. I hope to be able to be in person with each of you soon. Bye for now, everybody. Thanks again for joining.